You know, I was fortunate enough to play on a national championship team, but that was my senior year. So unlike a lot of these guys here, I didn't get to experience what it's like to run out in front of the hometown crowd and try to defend that title. But that's just what's about to happen in Tallahassee tonight. Guys like Williams and Green and O'Leary and Winston are about to suit up and head into Doak Campbell for the first time this season. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday night in the Sunshine State. We've got a sold-out stadium, and the Seminoles are ready for the Citadel.
Well, and a full house has arrived here tonight to Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium to see the reigning BCS national champions at home for the first time in nearly 300 days as Jimbo Fisher brings Florida State to Tallahassee to welcome the Bulldogs of the Citadel. They've been to Gainesville, they've been to Charlotte to win the ACC, they went to Pasadena to win the BCS National Championship, and last Saturday night they held off pesky Oklahoma State in Arlington, Texas. And tonight, the Seminole Nation has arrived in Tallahassee to see Florida State and the Citadel. This will be the first meeting between the two institutions in 52 years. The Noles lead the series 5-0-1. And by the way, Florida State tonight, with a win, can set a school record for consecutive victories. It would be their 18th, James. It's an amazing night for college football here in Tallahassee.
And Wes, that one that you mentioned, 1960, these two teams played to a 0-0 tie. I don't think it'll stay at 0-0 for over 5 minutes here tonight.
Nope. By the way, this crowd here at Doak Campbell Stadium has been through afternoon rain, a little bit of lightning early in the afternoon, and we may have a shower or sprinkle or two before we're done, but this could be big here tonight.
It's a beautiful thing. Think of the freshmen at Florida State University. Fresh onto campus, just starting their classes. They watched their team, the Noles, win a big one on the road in Arlington against Oklahoma State, and they were excited. But to come here and to put on your colors, to wake up on a Saturday morning and let it build all week at school, and now you're a freshman and you're in there doing the chop, that's pretty exciting for these young new students and these new Noles as well.
Home of the defending national champions in our ACC College Football Saturday package. On this first Saturday night in September, Tallahassee is our venue for the Bulldogs of the Citadel and #1, Florida State. And with James Bates, Wes Durham, we welcome you upstairs here to the broadcast booth. Hans Heiser will join us in just a second. Boy, Jimbo Fisher's won 17 straight ball games. They play for 18 tonight. But it's interesting, James. He talks about 2014 in a very different way than he talks about 2013.
Well, and he has to. What has it been, about 8 months since they've been able to call themselves national champions? But it's probably been 8 months that he's been trying to make them forget about last year and move on to next year. And the way they put it, hey, everybody's gunning for us. We are the targets. We have those big targets on our backs. But he wants to make sure that they remain hunters and not just the hunted. And I think that they did a good job of that in week 1 against a team that not enough people give enough credit to, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, a very speedy squad.
Well, Osceola and Renegade take center stage. It's interesting. All the discussion with Florida State since Labor Day night a year ago when he made his debut is this guy, number 5 at quarterback.
Well, how can it not be? And it was interesting into the second half. This Heisman run, if you will, in week 1 for Jameis Winston. Look at the guys down the field blocking for their leader. Now, he wasn't perfect like he almost was in the Pitt game. Against Pittsburgh last year, 25 of 27. And, you know, that was a little bit of a blowout. That was a different team, and he went 25 of 40. A little bit of noise, a little bit of clutter maybe got to him a little bit. Needs to just play smooth and play his natural game.
Well, we're going to see Jameis Winston and the Seminoles, but also tonight, Mike Houston, the head coach of the Citadel. He's got his Bulldogs on the road for the first time, Hans.
Yeah, guys, Coach Houston yesterday, they got here about an hour after they were supposed to. 6 o'clock, they had to walk through at 5. First thing they did, they came out on the field, and you see the picture here. All the kids pulling out their cell phones, taking picture, truly in awe of this moment. Coach Houston earlier this week in his press conference said, look, guys, you're going to tell your grandchildren about this someday. You're playing the #1 team in the country on their field for their home opener, not to mention the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. By the way, he's pretty good. Just an awesome atmosphere down here, guys.
Hans, thanks very much. This crowd here ready to roll as Florida State won the toss and deferred. So the winner of the Lou Groza Award, Roberto Aguayo, will kick it away for the Noles. But let's get to our Ford keys to the game here, Batesy.
Well, cadet commitment. They're committed to a unique offense, that triple option. The guys from the Citadel, and they've got to do what they do. Can't get out of their game. It's a very unique student athlete that goes to the Citadel as well. Very disciplined. And full speed you got it. This is probably the fastest team in the nation right now, the Florida State Seminoles. And they got to come out, and they got to play it like it. And it shouldn't be hard with a packed house here at Doak Campbell.
Aguayo gets us started. He will drive it deep. That's Brandon Eakins, 8 yards deep. And the Citadel Bulldogs out of the Southern Conference will start this opening drive of the ball game, 1st and 10 off of its 25-yard line. Mike Houston's first team in Charleston is guided by a senior from Clover, South Carolina, Aaron Miller, 6 feet, 220 pounds. And last week, Houston only had him throw the ball 8 times in a loss to Coastal Carolina. He completed 1 of those passes. This is a option offense, more similar to what Georgia Tech and the Naval Academy run, James, than maybe what we saw in Wofford last Saturday in Atlanta.
Right, more of a flex bone, Georgia Tech type style.
Miller keeps it on 1st down. And he got pounded by DeMarcus Walker after a gain of a yard or 2. And here's our Toyota impact players for the Bulldogs.
All right, and we'll start with Vinnie Miller, the junior from South Carolina. Not just for what he does on offense, but a good special teams player as well. Alex Glover is a great big wide receiver. A tight end type body. They'll move him down and play him in that tight end spot as well. And speaking of receivers, it was good to see Eakins out there on the kick return team to start this game. He didn't return kicks last week. He was banged up a little bit, so he looks healthy.
Vinnie Miller, the slot to the left side. And here is Aaron Miller pitching away, and taking it is Jake Stenson. He'll get the first down, and out near midfield goes Stenson. He led the Bulldogs. He was one of 2 backs over 100 yards last Saturday night. Nick Wasom starting tonight for P.J. Williams, who's injured, makes the stop.
Well, and a good read by Miller off of Edwards. He's just reading that defensive end. It was the jack there, Mario Edwards, and a great job on the outside by the Bulldog blockers to lock up on their guys. And that's the full speed that I'm talking about with Florida State. Every single snap has to be full go, or they're going to hit something like that on.
And straight ahead, this is Tyler Renew. He's the B-back and the sophomore plunging ahead. And for Florida State and their defensive coordinator, Charles Kelly, here's their Toyota impact player.
Well, big number 5, the linebacker in the middle, Reggie Northrup, had his first start last week and had 7 tackles. He has a chance to double that and then some here today. And Jalen Ramsey, all those safeties, watch out for them. Ramsey playing that star linebacker, or the star backer rather, for the new defensive coordinator, Charles Kelly. The nickel back in this defense.
2nd down and 6. And straight ahead, there goes Renew again. 210-pound sophomore. A year ago, just 8 ball games and 132 yards. In fact, the Interesting note this week out of Charleston, despite their loss to Coastal Carolina, Tyler Renew ran for more yards against Coastal Carolina than he did all of last year in Mike Houston's debut last Saturday night at Johnson Haygood Stadium on the Citadel campus. Third and short for a team last week that was 5 of 13. Florida State, by the way, was tagged 50% against Oklahoma State on third down. And Miller may have been held short here on the quarterback feet.
Wes, looks like he'll be about a half-yard short, but remember, this Lenore-Rhine team that Mike Houston coached last year to the national championship game, they said they went for it a lot more than you'd expect, a lot more than the other teams on fourth down, so expect this offense to stay out there on the opening drive.
And indeed they do.
This is a big play for Houston's bunch. They need about a half-yard.
And Renew on second effort. Boy, really going to depend on the spot. A lot of banging going on. Eddie Goldman, the 320-pound junior. Niall Lawrence Stample at 314. All those guys that look good getting off the bus were right in the mix for Florida State. Well, Mike Houston's as interested as anybody else. And it looks like Goldman, who's shaken up. And they're going to bring the chains in from over on the far side here at Doak Campbell Stadium.
This is one thing you don't want to see at either team, and have your new defensive tackle down. Big Eddie Goldman, I think it was him that knifed through there.
Didn't get it.
Well, I'm with you, Wes. It was the initial penetration. Watch this. And powering with those legs, it looked like they got across the line on the second effort. But a great job by Charles Kelly's defense to swarm.
So Goldman will come off, and Florida State will take over just outside its 40-yard line. And Eddie Goldman coming off very slowly. And there's a look at the redshirt sophomore from Hueytown High School, Bessemer, Alabama, Jameis Winston. A year ago, 67% completion, 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, just 10 interceptions. A remarkable performance that started on Labor Day night at Heinz Field in a win over Pittsburgh and never let up.
And if I'm Randy Sanders and calling this first play, I treat it almost like a sudden change. Like a turnover, that fourth down, maybe the defense not quite expected to jump right out there right away like that after the stop. See if you can hit him up top for the big play. Boy, would that light up the crowd.
Here's Winston tossing in Carlos Williams on the first carry of the night. And across midfield goes Williams to the 49 of the Citadel and a first down. Jeffries, the defensive end and sophomore from Oklahoma City, made the stop.
And look at the big man leading the way. Cam Irving, big 75 down there blocking defensive bench. He's still going back onto the FSU bench. These offensive linemen, all seniors, are so much fun to watch. Faster in the backs at times, it seems, down the field.
Here is Kermit Whitfield coming to the near side. And Whitfield breaks free inside the 30. Goes the sophomore from Orlando, Nick Willis. The safety finally nudged him out of bounds.
Think about it. You're on that Citadel defense. You're playing in Doak Campbell Stadium. All these people, man, I'm going to go make a big play. You go flying out of there, and they run a misdirection at you. Good job blocking on the edge. And one of the speediest guys in the nation, Kermit Whitfield, does the rest. Another easy first down for the Noles.
4.3740 is Whitfield. Over 20 yards on the second play from scrimmage. Here's Winston. Dumps it on the back, and this is O'Leary, the tight end. He'll cut inside and pick up about 7 or 8 on the first down play as Devontae Delaney makes the tackle. We look at Florida State's impact players on offense, brought to you by Toyota.
Well, there are quite a few, but I'm going to go with the run game. A run game that Oklahoma State committed to stopping, and they did a decent job against this offense, but I'd like to see them dominate on the ground against this smaller Citadel bunch. So that's why we go with Austin Barron, the new center, and of course Carlos Williams. But watch out for Cook and Pender as well.
And here goes Carlos Williams. Diving driving toward the goal line. He'll be stopped at the 1. First and goal, Florida State. Walker Smith, a former walk-on who's headed to med school, tripped Carlos Williams up.
Boy, for a big guy, look at him go. Look at the pad level as he goes through that line, and then he gets into open field. And what a pretty runner. 6'1", 225 is from Polk County, so you know he's tough. Those Florida guys from down there in Polk County about as tough as they come, Wes.
30 yards on a couple of carries already for Williams. And he bangs away at the right side behind Trey Jackson and Bobby Hart. But Willis is the first Bulldog to greet him. And we get a quick look at the Citadel defense and their impact players, brought to you by Toyota.
Well, how about Mitchell Jeter, a state champion in wrestling in high school? He's a big hustler there at the defensive tackle spot. And Rock Muhammad, 19th start here in Tallahassee tonight for this new coaching staff and his Citadel Bulldogs.
2nd and 1. Freddie Stevenson, the fullback, behind Winston and in front of Carlos Williams. That's O'Leary, the tight end, in motion. And Williams scores. Carlos Williams' first touchdown of 2014. A year ago, he had 11 of them. And he's put Florida State on the board in the first 5-12 here tonight. The point after by Aguayo is good. Well, they got a stop on downs, and then it only took a half dozen snaps, and Carlos Williams set it up. 4 carries, 31 yards in the score in the touchdown drive.
At all. I mean, everyone that we play, we know they're going to give us their A game. And we definitely got to come with our A game because we don't believe in looking down on anyone because competition is the same to us.
Well, that's a Heisman Trophy winner who just took his offensive unit 59 yards in 2.5 minutes. Carlos Williams' first touchdown run of 2014 has made it 7-0 here in Tallahassee.
Wes, that's just a nice way of saying we don't care who you are. We'll whoop your butt if you want to come play us.
Here's Eakins. And will touch a knee just before he hit the white line. Well, Devontae Delaney and Vinnie Miller were doing the litigating here, and this is really tight, Batesy.
Well, we'll give him the hall pass on that first one because remember, this is his first week returning those kicks. You do see the garnet in between the stripe and the knee.
Well, and by the way, great camera work by our crew and our director Gary Clem getting us those pictures. His knee hits before his hand hits. If the hand hits before the knee, guess what? He's in play and down. Oh. Bulldogs' second straight possession off its 25. Miller on the option. And Stinson swarmed under, and that's Darby the corner. Ronald Darby Jr., a candidate for the Thorpe. After 2 interceptions, 14 tackles a year ago, the lockdown corner for the Seminoles.
One of the two, P.J. Williams, is sitting tonight. Remember, had the injured hamstring. He hurt it. They couldn't get him out of the game against Oklahoma State. Unfortunately, it was Williams nursing that hammy during the game that had the big play on J.W. Walsh. So it is Wason starting for Williams with Darby at the corner spots tonight.
Miller, the play clock down to 5. And boy, Renew took a big shot. And that's Reggie Northrup. That's one of the guys you were talking about at the top. An impact player with an impact play. And he knocked Renew's helmet off.
Well, and that's why I was talking about it. That's who you want to name as an impact player. Reggie Northrup was the first guy I circled. He's got to be fired up to play these Bulldogs because he doesn't have to deal with as much as the cutting. That's the defensive line. He can take advantage and go clean up the trash, and he certainly took it out right there.
10 yards on 4 carries for Renew, and Smith has come in to replace him. Here's the pitch. Vinnie Miller working to the far side. sheds the first guy. Citadel first down. Out to about the 43-yard line goes Vinny Miller, junior from North Augusta, South Carolina. Tyler Hunter and Derek Mitchell Jr. make the stop.
Well, and a fantastic job. Watch the left side of your screen. Whoever it is that got Jalen Ramsey down on the ground, a fantastic job. There's Waysome starting for Williams. Just mentioned him tonight. He's got to stay outside. You got to force that back into your buddies wearing the gold bonnets. Instead, he gets outside, and the chains move again for the Citadel.
Straight ahead on the dime goes Renew. He'll pick up maybe 3 on first down. Mike Houston's team last week in the loss to Coastal Carolina 31-16 had 358 yards of rushing, 377 passing, or 377 total. A year ago they averaged 273. And of course Aaron Miller at the controls, the senior from Clover, South Carolina. But they've also got a freshman they're excited about, and that's Dominic Allen.
And we'll see him tonight, Coach Houston promised.
Toss from Vinny Miller. Got a nice block from Eakins. And Miller toward the first down mark in Florida State territory. Northrup again makes the stop for the Seminoles.
Boy, this wasn't slow developing at all, Wes. This was just a quick hitter, quick pitch, and they changed it up on that defense in the changeup work. Couple good crack blocks on the outside. Again, Seminole bodies on the ground. You can't make plays on the ground, and a couple of those were just standing up and blocking you. And that's where you get the changeup. Imagine you've got a guy cutting you. My goodness, I don't have to. This isn't my contract. And then he hits you up high, and that changeup will get you, just like baseball, the fastball to the curve.
First down and 10. Another dive play with Tyler Renew, and right into the arms of Mario Edwards Jr., former National Defensive Player of the Year by USA Today out of Mississippi. But Tyler Renew's got 6 carries and 17 yards. And Justin Shanks is shaken up, redshirt sophomore. And so another Seminole. We've already seen Eddie Goldman shaken up, and now Shanks is down.
Well, I was anxious to go back and look, Wes, at the break. It wasn't a cut on Goldman, and Shanks down. Goldman's already gone off on a cart.
Here in Tallahassee, James Bates, Hans Heiser, the 2013 ACC Football Championship Trophy in the Moore Athletic Center, and Jimbo Fisher, native of Clarksburg, West Virginia, now in his 5th year as the head man here in Tallahassee. Named January 5th, 2010. You see the 46-10 worksheet, and of course winners of 17 straight and 29 of his last 31. 7th play of the drive. Miller going to throw. Down the side, batted away and broken up. Nate Andrews, who had the pick 6 last week off J.W. Walsh out in Arlington, broke that one up, but Florida State already a couple of big injuries.
Well, first drive for the Citadel, and it happened late. You see there at the bottom of your screen, that's Eddie Goldman. He was carted off earlier, now in the middle. This is the last play. Justin Shanks, and what could have been called a high-low, but it was his own teammate that had pushed the Citadel player down into his lower body. And remember, a lot of these guys in the white uniforms are on the ground cutting all night long. You got to keep those feet moving, and you can't get caught standing around those piles. But the Noles can't afford to lose any more defensive linemen, that's for sure.
8th play of the drive is 3rd down. They'll pitch it on the edge, and Vinny Miller got spun around by Darby, and then falls forward for maybe a yard. And let's see in plus territory. Mike Houston likes to go for this. And James, in some ways, I wouldn't fault him if he did, right?
Absolutely not. Why not? Nothing to lose. And a few plays back, remember we saw Nick Waysome, the senior, in there, and he let that ball get outside. That's a perfect example. Darby didn't make the tackle, but he forced him back inside. You don't have any help out there. And taking advantage of his buddies. Now 4th down, you got to know where those sticks are.
Base look here for the Bulldogs, and now a timeout. So they lined up. Mike Houston punches his first timeout. 7-0 Florida State. 4th down for the Bulldogs when we come back. "7-0 Florida State." After the timeout, Mike Houston team's going to punt. And Will Van Vick hangs it up high, and it will get into the end zone. So Florida State will play from its 20. Well, and here we are in week 2 of this young Atlantic Coast Conference season. We've already got some stories being built. And of course, the nation's #1 team at the end of last year is still #1 after their win over Oklahoma State last Saturday night out at AT&T Cowboys Stadium. How about Louisville on Labor Day night, Batesy?
Boy, did they look good against Miami.
And then Rashad Green, 2 bills worth of receiving yardage on 11 catches, including this 50-yarder for a touchdown in the win over Oklahoma State. ACC Player of the Week, one of several. Freddie Stevenson, Mario Pender now in the backfield for Florida State. Off its 20, Winston fakes. Loads and throws, and it's caught. Coming here to the near side and making the grab for the Seminoles is Bobo Wilson. Didn't play last week in their opener.
Bobo, plenty of time to clear all the way across in front of those safeties, across the middle, and nobody even sniffing Jameis Winston there. Great job by the guys up front. There's Rashad Green, the ACC Player of the Week. He's going to get a few more of those this season if teams choose to not double cover him at all like Oklahoma State.
Look at this throw back here to the near side. And Rashad Green on cue is loose into Citadel territory, brought down at the Bulldog 45 by Nick Willis. When you talk about Rashad Green now, we're talking about 3rd in career receiving yardage per catch, 6th in career receptions, 5th in career receiving yards nationally.
And trying to become the first Florida State Seminole receiver to lead this team all 4 seasons in receiving yards. But you know what? The most important thing you hear about him, he doesn't care about any of the noise. He just wants to go out there, wants to graduate, get his nursing degree, and keep making plays. Great leaders. A lot of the great players are great leaders on this squad.
Out the back door, this is the redshirt sophomore Pender. And another Florida State first down to the 34-yard line. Rock Muhammad pushed him out of bounds. And, boy, Jameis Winston's off to a pretty fast start now. He's hit his first 3 passes of the night. And that last one to Mario Pender.
Well, and Jimbo Fisher told us yesterday in his office, we were talking about Pender, and his eyes lit up, and he said, but he's got great hands, too. And we should have known that early on we'd see a pass to Pender out of the backfield to move the sticks.
And here is Pender breaking to the near side. And Winston tried to come back and help him with a block and ended up getting caught in the tackle with Nick Willis, the safety, and Mario Pender.
Come on, Jameis. You can win the Heisman again, but not the Butkus. That's a solo tackle for number 5. Boy, does he ever run with some passion. Mario Pender, and who can blame him after missing the last 2 years? It was a knee in 2012. Academics last year. First touch in Arlington last week was a touchdown from 11 yards out. And you better believe Dalvin Cook's going to run with that same intensity, too.
Stuffed out, and this is Freddie Stevenson. Another Winston completion. He's 5 for his first 5 in the ball game. And Florida State now, with under 4 to go in this first quarter, into the CPI security red zone. You see the touchdown and 3 field goals last week in Arlington. There was also the interception that the coach noted in our visit yesterday.
Jimbo wanted better execution in the red zone, and well, they set the bar pretty high. A lot of those numbers are going to be tough to reach again this year. Almost 80% touchdowns when the Noles made it to the red zone in 2013.
Winston, far side. Bobo Wilson. Did he get in? Touchdown, Florida State. Jesus Bobo Wilson, the sophomore from Miami. And the Noles are 2 for 2 touchdowns to drives here in the opening period. Aguayo for the point after. And the kick is good. 6 plays, 80 yards. 1:53 the time of the scoring drive. And Winston dials up a 12-yard throw to Wilson.
Just dumps it out there, and a good job on the edge by Christian Green. They buy him just enough time, and then Wilson turns on the jets and beats him to the corner.
Winston is, James, 6 for 6 and 74 yards here in this first period.
Well, people want to be perfect. He wants people to be happy, doesn't he? He would hate to let the fans down.
Well, the homestanding crowd loves it. Time for our Synovus Greatness Made here. How about this Florida State offensive line, James?
We went against some great ones here at FSU back in the day. This one may be as good as you get. And Austin Barron, the only new guy up there. The senior center taking over for Brian Stork, who's now with New England.
It was interesting visiting with Mike Houston yesterday during their walkthrough. He was talking about that offensive line. He said, well, I'm supposed to pick the best one? And Eakins will take the Briar's pick. And touch a knee. Citadel will play for the third time off its 25. Winston, by the way, the great start, has also included 5 different receivers here.
And he has these guys to thank. I've got a buddy that's a scout in the NFL, and well, you all know the name Rick Trickett if you watch any Florida State Seminole football. The offensive line coach, arguably the best offensive line coach in all of ball. And he asked Rick Trickett about one of his offensive linemen a couple years ago. He said, is he a tough guy? And Trickett said to him, he says, he plays for me. What do you think? Tough and athletic. I'm telling you, an offensive lineman sprinting downfield and picking up a second block is a thing of beauty, and they do it every single snap.
Here's Aaron Miller in the single back on the attack offensively. This slot option look. And straight ahead with Miller on the keeper. And Chris Casher returning to the lineup, announced last night. He was held out of the Oklahoma State ball game, but Casher, an outstanding prospect, redshirt sophomore from Mobile, with 25 tackles a year ago. Been there on his first stop tonight.
4-yard gain, that's right on schedule. They were the last series too, but they had the incomplete pass. So.
Slot look here for the Citadel. Play clock down and a timeout now. Aaron Miller got it punched just in time. And so a break from Mike Houston. Matching wits tonight with, of course, Jimbo Fisher. And there is the native of Clarksburg, John James Jimbo Fisher, 48 years of age. And look at this, Batesy.
I thought you were going to say John Denver.
No.
Country Roads. That's John Denver. And how about this, Wes? You know,
I mean, you hear a lot about Pennsylvania, Texas, and Florida. Look at these coaches who are natives of West Virginia.
And it's not just like they're just a couple guys. Oh, hey, this is neat. We built a graphic. Those are some of the best guys to ever roam the sidelines.
How about the guy at the bottom of the list, the old middle guard from Huntington, Jim Grove?
That may be my favorite on the list. Coach Grove, enjoyed working with him on ACC Gridiron Live. And, you know, I know he misses being out there roaming the sidelines, but he's doing a heck of a job breaking down some of these teams in the ACC. Actually, one of my favorite things in the offseason was a sit-down he did with Jimbo Fisher.
Yep. And off the timeout, here is Renew slugging ahead. The Bulldog be back, and finally game tackled with about 8 gold hats. Let's check in. Hans Heiser's got an update for us on some of these injured Seminoles.
Yeah, you hate to see this. Eddie Goldman, number 92, he's officially out for the game. They're calling it a lower leg injury, and of course he was carted off to the back for x-rays. Before they could even get him back, they had to wait. Shanks goes down. It was actually his first play working with the starting unit. A great opportunity for the young guy. He lasted only 3 plays. He literally had to stand here and wait for the cart to come back and pick him up. He's also out for the game with a lower leg injury.
All right. Here's the toss play. And on third down, Citadel with Jake Stinson coming here to the near side. Picks up their second third down conversion in 4 tries with the redshirt senior from the Bowl School in Jacksonville, Derek Mitchell. There's number 11. Also from Jacksonville, makes the stop.
Terrence Smith in there too. Terrence Smith, a speedy linebacker, but sometimes he'll go flying out of there. You see the touchdown last week and create a little bit more space than necessary. Guys come under control. They're overrun. another first down to leave those chains for the Citadel.
Straight ahead on the dive, Tyler Renew. And just a couple of yards there on first down. Well, Walker makes the stop. Next Saturday, a double dip for you of ACC College Football Saturday. Start out at noon in Grant Field at Bobby Dodd Stadium. The first ever meeting with Georgia Southern and Georgia Tech. Paul Johnson gets to renew some ties with folks down at Statesboro. And then James and I will be at Wade Stadium in Durham for Charlie Weiss's Jayhawks against David Cutcliffe's Blue Devils. And we'll see you about 3:30 from Wade Stadium. Our ACC College Football Saturday. And Renew again. Mike Houston, I think, here for a moment, just, settling for 2, 3, maybe 4 yards if he can push the stack far enough. Mitchell, another stop for Florida State. 28 yards on 9 carries for Tyler Renew here.
But that's the thing. That's what Houston says to Renew and company. Give me 3. Give me 4. And when those hitters right in your lap for that middle of the defense over and over, when one play works, they all seem to work. And that's when you can hit them up top with a play pass. But you got to stay on schedule, no penalties, and can't go backwards.
Third down and 4, the option play, and this is Stinson, and he fumbled the ball, but out of bounds, I believe, and a first down achieved. Second third down conversion for the Citadel in the drive. Their third here in the first half.
Again, a good job on the outside by those receivers blocking, and Bulldog fans at home, they're not worried. Shoot, they fumbled the ball 8 times last year and last weekend rather, and they didn't lose one ball in their loss to Coastal Carolina. Good job there. Was it Darby that reached back and stripped the ball away?
Heck of an athletic play by Ronald Darby. But nonetheless, a first down for the Bulldogs.
And see, earlier we saw a couple guys getting cut. That's an example of giving ground to gain ground.
Yeah.
He stayed up. He didn't get cut. He didn't make the tackle, and he got run by, but at least he could.
Play clock to 25 seconds.
At least he could affect the play. And those guys that have been getting cut, you've got to realize, hey, if he's going to cut me, I may not make this for a no-gainer. I may not make the big hit for -1 or -2, but I've got to stay up or they're going to gain the big one. So I've got to give some ground. I've got to play with my hands and bend, and then come off of it and make a play for a 3-yard gain.
Well, they're going to, once they rewound the clock, Citadel's just going to be content to let the first 15 minutes expire. Florida State's had it twice on offense. Carlos Williams has punched it in from a yard out, and then famous Jameis directed him down the field. And the Citadel scored on a Winston to Bobo Wilson touchdown. 14-0. Game summary, and the Noles have been impressive. Collectively, they've snapped it 12 times from scrimmage and have 2 scores.
Well, but that 4.6 for the Citadel, that's doing what you do. And here it comes again. First down.
Miller driving toward another first down and still got the stack. It looks like a rugby scrum as he pushes toward the 40-yard line of Florida State. Terrence Smith was one of the first guys there, but he had a bunch of fellas with him on both sides.
We'll follow in that lead blocker. This is about the 2nd or 3rd time tonight. A Bulldog runner has refused to go down. They blow the whistle and just peel off of him. Some tough guys coming in from Charleston here tonight to play these Seminoles.
Right at 10 yards for the senior quarterback, Aaron Miller. 8th play of the drive. And there's the dive play with Tyler Renew. Well, he's gotten a heavy dose in this first half. Garrett Mitchell makes the stop for Florida State. James, interesting in our visit yesterday with Charlie Kelly, the defensive coordinator, they talk about the discipline of the eyes. And Seminole shaken up is Niall Lawrence Stample. And there's a look at the first-year defensive coordinator, second-year assistant, longtime buddy of Jimbo Fisher's is Charlie Kelly, who came over from Paul Johnson's staff at Georgia Tech. And he talked about the discipline of eyes. Now, tonight, that's really important. But even later in the year, when you get against teams like here in 2 weeks, when Clemson comes in, they'll throw it around and do all that stuff. And well, I thought it was really interesting to hear him talk about watching the game with the eyes.
Absolutely. And you know what? It starts in those defensive meeting rooms. It starts in Charles Kelly's meeting room. It starts in Bill Miller, the linebacker coach, the guy who coaches Reggie Northrup. Here's his first start. And it's one thing to see everything, but you got to know what I'm expecting to see. And I got to be a football player out there. And so if I am able to learn, and it's different how different guys learn different ways, and so that's another thing these coaches have to do, but to teach them their responsibilities. And then if they can go out and know what they're expected to do and play with those eyes and see what this other team's trying to do to you, see those big offensive linemen popping up and pulling and trying to run a counter on you, and not running yourself out of there, and playing under control with those eyes. And that's absolutely what football is all about, and the defensive side especially.
Now Lawrence Stample helped from the field. Third down lineman for the Noles to be helped off here in this first half. Second down and 9. Now Miller looks to throw. Backside and off the hands of Eakins. Brandon Eakins, the 6'2 junior, McClellanville, South Carolina, who Mike Houston said earlier this week is our over-the-top guy. He's the guy athletic enough to go up and maybe contest the ball against some of these very talented Florida State fellows in the secondary.
Aaron Miller, his first throw of the night was a pretty breakup by Nate Andrews. Had a chance to pick it off, maybe get his 6th in his career. That time he just rushed it, threw it too hard. Eakins was streaking down the sideline, had plenty of room. You've got to take advantage of those. And now this is a third down that is it's FSU's favor right now.
And the dive play. Renew. Not much, if anything. Maybe a step for a yard. Mitchell again off his defensive end spot makes the play.
And that'll drive a coach like Houston, a coach like Paul Johnson, crazy, because you work so hard to establish that 4.6 yards per carry. And then, hey, we're going to throw it here, and we're going to get it. And you rush it, and it'll make you stay away from that pass. But when they're there, when you do spring it on them and change it up on them, you've got to take advantage.
Citadel going to go for this in plus territory. That may be the way the book is written tonight for Mike Houston and his staff. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down. And the throw and offline. Alex Glover had it. And then boy, did he take a shot. What a big hit from Tyler Hunter. Citadel into plus territory. Gets a chance.
Alex Glover, the big tight end type. Tyler Hunter doesn't care at all.
James Bates, Hans Heiser, our great crew, our producers Dave Berenger, our director Gary Clem, and all the fine men and women on our ACC College Football Saturday package. Wes Durham, and great to have you with us on a Saturday night. And here is Dalvin Cook, the freshman from Miami. And he's got some of that speed at the top of the gearbox, James, that others just don't have.
Well, when you've got to wait your turn, you get your hands on that ball and you make it count. Look at the guys up front. Look at the patience. Dalvin Cook, remember, I mean, he's new to all this, and yet he has the patience to let those guys run the defenders on by, make that cut. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Football in the state of Florida last year.
Whitfield off the lateral from Winston. A little touch pass, if you will. And Rock Muhammad and Kermit Whitfield go to the ground, but it'll be ruled incomplete. That is, and now we're going to get an interp here. That was an incomplete pass. Jimbo Fisher called on the side judge, Angelo Bartis, and there's the referee, Pat Garvey, giving us the indicator of an incomplete pass.
Well, that's a hot potato.
And it's just kind of a tip pass, but it technically because the ball goes forward.
Absolutely.
James?
He was on that.
First incomplete pass of the night for Winston, by the way. And Jameis now scrambling from the pocket. And throws complete. And that's Rashad Green. The catch near the Citadel 40-yard line. Boy, the mobility of number 5 is pretty good from the pocket.
Well, and you know what? He can tuck it and go, as we saw all last year, as we saw against Oklahoma State. But where he's really special is when you bring guys after him, it isn't just flying out of there and, oh, gosh, he can use his legs. Where he's running full speed, it's the little shifts. Buying his time with his legs doesn't mean running full speed for 15 yards. Sometimes it's 1 and 2 yard shifts.
First down play. And a strike to Nick O'Leary. And that'll be just enough for the first down. And there, look at here, James. Winston's looking toward the Florida State bench for the signals. And I don't know if the lights off the rim here at Doak Campbell are catching him, but whatever it is, it's working, right?
Well, that squint he's making famous. Somebody's going to grab him one day. Hi, I'm James Winston. I used to squint. But thanks to this doctor.
Yep. Slingshot out on the far side. And again, Bobo Wilson squeezes off nearly another first down. And Wilson, of course, suspended last Saturday night. Did not play in Arlington in the victory over Oklahoma State for Florida State. But Jesus Bobo Wilson, the speedy sophomore who's already got a touchdown here tonight, is a big factor in this receiving corps. Second down and 3.
Making them earn it a little bit this time. First 2 scoring drives were 6 plays each of them. Second one went 80 yards.
And this is Dalvin Cook cutting back. And boy, what a fine play by Devontae Delaney. Playing in that Citadel secondary, Delaney, a redshirt freshman from Seabrook, South Carolina, former 1A champ in the 4x100. Made a heck of a play there.
Had to come in last week when Cody Richardson was hurt for the Citadel. You're right, Wes. He talked about not letting guys outside. Number 4 is a tough one to keep bottled up, but he does just that and gives his defense another chance here to come out and play third down, 3rd and short.
That's O'Leary in motion. And Winston going to have the ball here is Carlos Williams. First down for Florida State. Tevin Floyd, who is from Tallahassee, makes the stop. And Carlos Williams on cue is tonight's Hardy's star to watch, James.
Well, we talked about the importance of getting that ground game, getting it lathered up, getting those gears, fine-tuned and going before this off week. And then they get Clemson coming to town. And it was an Oklahoma State team that committed to shutting guys like Carlos Williams down. So we made him the star, 8 yards per carry. Number 9 last year. It's 6th in the nation.
Pressure coming on Winston. Jameis eludes one. And will spin toward the 20. And that's Thomas, the defensive end. And, of course, Mitchell Jeter also involved in the pressure of Jameis Winston. Guy we spoke of in our Toyota Impact.
The wrestler. We were promised hustle from his defensive coordinator. And popping up. You see guys going down. Mitchell Jeter, he pops right up knowing he can't make any plays on the ground. Maurice Drayton said, watch out for number 62, and it's the hustle. And everybody with those vice angles on another slithery character in Jameis Winston.
Second down now for the Seminoles. Little counter play. And stepping through Carlos Williams. It'll be first and goal, Florida State. James, the impressive thing that catches your eye is Malik Diggs makes the tackle. Williams is very comfortable on the edge, and he's very comfortable between the tackles.
Absolutely. How can you not be when you've got all those seniors blocking up front? That time, had my eye on 54 Trey Jackson, who does a fine job of just sealing that edge and helping him out. And Christian Green on the outside has done a great job blocking all night long.
And it's Dalvin Cook, the freshman, for a yard or 2. So it'll be second and goal. Walker Smith up out of the secondary wearing 41 for the Citadel. There's a look at the former walk-on who was a student manager. And then Mike Houston said he just, stayed with it. And now he's headed to medical school. Coach Houston told us once his redshirt senior campaign is complete.
He should have to wear number 9 like Bobby Boucher. If you're a manager and then you become a player on defense, it should be required by the NCAA.
And here's Cook trying to get to the edge. Got a block and he'll get into the end zone. So the true freshman who enrolled in January, Dalvin Cook, got a nice block over there from Christian Green to help seal it up on his first rushing touchdown as a Seminole.
Well, it took a couple more carries than it did Pender when he got his first touches last week. Look at that offensive line move. Guys going down on the ground, and guess who? Down in the paint one more time. Christian Green had his guy swallowed up. He was a non-factor, the defender. And touchdown number 1 for the freshman from Miami Central. Mr. Football West, or sometimes down in Miami, Señor Football Americano. Muy bueno. Número 4, muy bueno.
Right, close the pass on the other. It's caught! It's caught! It's caught! Touchdown FSU! Those are the champions of college football.
And we welcome you back to Tallahassee. There is the BCS National Championship Trophy. And on the left, the legendary voice of the Seminoles, Gene Deckerhoff. And on Sunday, we fire those cannons for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Great to visit with Gene before the game. Well, what a wonderful, wonderful, remarkable career he's had here with Florida State and, of course, with the Buccaneers as well.
Since 1979, me and Gene's been up there calling these football games.
And the kick by Aguayo. Down by Eakins. Ball at the 25 for Citadel. We look forward to having you join. 12 noon, the doubleheader. And Citadel starts off its 25 for a 4th straight time. And Jalen Ramsey comes up to make the play on Aaron Miller with the keeper. And Aaron Miller double checking. There's the 2013 freshly painted up on this beautiful renovation they've done at the Moore Athletic Center. We had a chance to go through there yesterday. You were in the locker room there this afternoon before the game.
Beautiful. And a great big, as you enter the football complex, a great big mural of the catch from last year's championship game.
And dive play toward the 30-yard line by Vinnie Miller.
Well, and off the top.
That was Renew. I'm sorry.
Wes.
Here we go. James, here's the conversation about 20 years ago. Everybody said, Florida State back. Statistically, this is kind of who they were 20 years ago in 1993 in last year's national championship. And these stats are remarkable in how close they are. I mean, they were high-powered. You know this in the early 90s.
Charlie Ward, William Floyd.
Yeah. 3rd down now for the Citadel. Miller on the keeper. There's the pitch. And Vinnie Miller breaks away and will have the 1st down. Boy, the Citadel that time. Noddy, the true freshman from Virginia Beach, Virginia, wearing 91, seeing action for the first time, makes the play here. But, man.
Again, a couple guys on the ground. Tyler Hunter was one of those, and a good job by Nick Wasom to come off and light them up. But you got to wrap up. You got to wrap up, and you've got to stop. Instead, they move the sticks one more time. Important for the Citadel to go down and score here. 5:40 left in this first half. Eat up some of that clock. See if you can go in. Trailing by 14.
In trouble and sacked is Miller. Desmond Holland wearing 43, the first Seminole to get there.
No, the JUCO transfer from Miami boy hit 43, and they just opened up the gate. Somebody forgot to lock it up. And that's sack number 1 this year. He had 2 last year. These big guys up front. Talk about the offensive linemen and the way they run. Boy, these guys last year watching this defense hunt. Timmy Jernigan. 300-pounder, but he ran like a deer. It's pretty to watch some of those big guys get up and go.
Loss of 5 on the sack. Miller going to throw and incomplete. Both Eakins, Rudder Brown was out there, 83. And there seemed to be some miscommunication perhaps with Cam Jackson. So Charlie Kelly's team now has forced 3rd and long, and Miller is 0 for 4 throwing the football here in the first half. Remember, he was just 1 of 8 last week for 19 yards in their loss to Coastal Carolina from Mike Houston.
Well, it certainly helps the no-fly zone. Their numbers here today. No-fly zone playing out without an air traffic controller. Missing Williams, and now they can pin their ears back.
Here's Aaron Miller trying to get to the right side, and the Noles rally to the football. Jalen Ramsey Very competitive sophomore from just outside Nashville at Smyrna, Tennessee. Forced him out of bounds, and we'll get a look at Will Van Vick to punt the football.
He and Terry Bowden must have shared a hair coloring. They both have orange hair. Jalen Ramsey. You see Terry Bowden's hair today for the Zips? Kind of orange.
There's a look at Jalen. Rashad Green waits. Almost blocked. And here is Green off the 12. At the 20. Flag down and out of bounds goes Rashad Green at the 26-yard line.
Will Van Vick didn't do a very good job of selling it, did he?
No.
A little bit late.
And it looked like Lorenzo Featherston had almost blocked it. And we're going to hear tonight from referee Pat
During the
Garvey.
return, legal block in the back on the return team, number 28. 10-yard penalty, first down.
All right, we get a break in the action at Doak Campbell Stadium. Seminoles lead by 3 scores. Their own 11 when play resumes here, James.
It was a decent return that was brought back because of the penalty block in the back, and well, they got him stopped on the Citadel because of the defensive play. Here's Jalen Ramsey up top. Well, I wanted to circle him for you guys, but my telestrator's not working, so let's just go ahead and play it. And just watch guys not on the ground this time. Nobody's on the ground. You saw Levenberry, who made a little 360, but he stayed up and was able to go out there and just spread it and stretch it. Jalen Ramsey also staying up on his feet. And you run out of room. You got a guy on the pitch, man. Go up there and take it out. Hey, I'm not going to be on the tackle. I'm not going to get a stat. But you know what? I'm playing within this scheme. I'm playing disciplined football, which, you know, you say it ad nauseum when you have a triple option team out there, but it's absolutely true, more so than ever, maybe.
Out in space, Pender trying to get back beyond the line of scrimmage. He caught it back at about the 6-yard line and got a yard out. There's a long way to get a yard off the throw from Jameis Winston. 2nd down and 9. This is Florida State's worst point of origination to begin a drive. They started at their own 41, their own 20, their own 37, and now here their own 11.
Maurice Drayton's defense has done a good job with pursuing. There you saw one guy overrun, but they've done a good job of going with that backside hip.
Here is Pender. And this redshirt sophomore tackled by Baxter in the secondary.
Look at Pender clapping. Boy,
Tell you, once Carlos Williams goes to the bench, Pender and Cook and anybody else that's got a gold hat on playing running back wants the ball tonight now.
well, and what a luxury to have.
Yep.
You know, and for Carlos Williams, and Carlos Williams is a senior, but he feels it. Guys, that could be my touchdown. I better run like I'm possessed, because you know these young bucks behind him, sophomore Mario Pender and Dalvin Cook, are going to do just that.
5 different guys, 117 yards on 14 carries, and here's a first down play for Pender. And Malik Diggs makes the play in the secondary for the Citadel against Pender.
Oh, it's good to see a fullback in football, isn't it? You don't see it very often, but Freddie Stevenson, the sophomore out of Bartow, had his first start versus Oklahoma State, started his career as a linebacker. A couple articles on him. Had to learn how to use his hands a little bit better, and he's done that. Great job defensively on the edge, knifing in there. And I think it was Carson Smith, the linebacker, to just go in there and light up that big offensive lineman. And you know, with those big offensive linemen, Carson Smith is 230 pounds made, and all these offensive linemen are over 3 bills.
Yep.
But if you hit them when they're not squared up on you with that big body, you can stuff them and you can stop them. And again, that's eyes and that's knowledge of the defense.
Winston going to sail on the backside and caught. Running in bounds on the far side is the true freshman from Homestead, Ermon Lane. And that'll be a first down to the 43, and the Noles in a bit of a hurry upset here. 14-yard pass.
Well, and this is what can get a defense really scrambled up. It happened to the Seminoles last week. They'd have a big hitter against them and coming right back with that tempo.
There's Green stepping out of bounds with 98 seconds left. Stay tuned. Coming up this week on ACC Gridiron Live, David Cutcliffe shares insight on last season's success. Paul Johnson breaks down the spread option offense. And, of course, he'll see Georgia Southern next Saturday at Grant Field. ACC Gridiron Live, presented by McAllister's Deli, with Misters Bates, Wire, Grove, and Crumpler. Check your local listings, and that'll be a first down run for Mario Pender.
Make sure you watch to the very end. You can see me celebrate my 13-0 picks in week 1.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness.
How about that? I got a little plug for my picks there.
Yeah, nice work. Final 83 seconds. Winston, and that's O'Leary, another catch. Nick O'Leary grinding out yardage inside the single 30. And O'Leary, the senior from Palm Beach, and a candidate for the Mackey Award. Blue collars this to another Seminole first down.
You know, he's not the fastest guy out there. He's not the best blocker as a tight end in the country. He doesn't dominate in one phase, but he's so good with all the little things. He's such a good blocker. He's such a good route runner, such good hands. He really is a special tight end for these Noles.
Winston firing across his body to Lane. He'll step out of bounds near the 22.
And you know, when you have a guy that you talk a chess game. This is a chess game with these coaches and trying to match personnel. So you said Nick O'Leary in there on 3rd down and short. Well, they're going to run it. You know, here's a big body. We got to match him with the linebacker. Well, you move him out, and you run right on that linebacker, and he's just too good. He's too tough to cover. And next time they try to match him with the defensive back, you bring him in, you run it, you pound it for 3. It's tough.
Here's a first down for a 2nd down play, and that's Carlos Williams. He'll be a first down. 10-yard throw there from Winston to Williams. Cody Richardson pushes him out of bounds. There's a good angle on it.
Oh, this is a cool shot right here. Got the jib in the corner of the end zone coming right into your living room. And we talked about the hands of Mario Pender earlier. And Carlos Williams got nice soft hands as well.
11th play of the drive. And they're banging with Carlos Williams. Still digging. Toward the 2.5-yard line goes Williams with just under a minute now to go. Boy, Florida State has done a very nice job of moving this football.
You know, it's interesting, too. Here's the power that you want to see out of this team. You got to be able to get physical, get down and dirty. And as tall as Williams is, he does a good job of playing with good angles when he needs to.
Winston now steps up. And Jameis will be tackled just inside the 2, and a timeout asked for. Jimbo Fisher really kind of got out there by the numbers before they finally saw him. King and Harrell make the play on Winston here. So a Florida State timeout. Noles trying to add one more before they go to the locker room. Out of the Florida State timeout. Here are the Noles now, 2nd and goal. Winston, end zone, touchdown for Nick O'Leary. A year ago, he had 7 touchdown catches. His first of 2014 makes it 27-0.
What a nice play call. Just too easy. We had just talked about it before we went to break. We got a guy that can do a lot of things. Surprise everybody. And some guys are doing the big man in there. They're not blocking the end of the line. He can do anything you ask of him at the tight end spot. Making it look easy. A nice play fake and sell by the back in Winston. Look at everybody. I mean, it's everybody just selling out, trying to stuff that run. All we can do just to get in there and penetrate and stop this guy in the backfield because they've been doing so much damage here throughout the night. And then you slip the senior out of there, Nick O'Leary. What throwback. How about that? No gloves, no sweatbands, no tape on the arms. That's like a Todd Christensen. He needs a big old Jerry curl mullet and a nice mustache.
Well, Florida State has scored touchdowns on all 4 of their offensive possessions here in this first half. Carlos Williams did a lot of the heavy lifting on possession number 1. How about Bobo Wilson here?
Oh, Bobo Wilson, little help from his buddy Christian Green. The senior receiver's been blocking all night long. And, well, Dalvin Cook, welcome to the Seminole Show.
Yep. So Dalvin Cook gets the 3rd touchdown in a moment ago. Nick O'Leary. 28-0 it is in the final half minute.
McGuire will drive Eakins 8 yards deep. And once again, the Citadel
Will have the ball at its 20.
Campbell, but
no.
You get what I'm saying.
Yep. I hear you. And on first down, Miller just gets a yard or two. The Citadel quarterback, Jameis Winston, by the way, 7 of 7, 58 yards, and the touchdown pass of 2 yards to O'Leary on that last drive. Pretty good first half for the Heisman Trophy winner. And let's see, are the Bulldogs going to run one more snap? They will. Final play of the half. Miller throws, and the pass is caught out there by Rudder Brown. That's the first pass completion of the night for the Bulldogs. And that's the final play of this first half. So Florida State, 4 touchdowns, 4 offensive possessions here in this first half for Jimbo Fisher, and he is standing by with Hans Heiser.
Well, Coach, you talked yesterday about Jameis Winston telling him that he can't try to be perfect all the time. 4 for 4 on drives. He seems a little bit more relaxed tonight.
He does. We're executing. We got to get the ball back some more. We've had it 4 times, scored 4 touchdowns. Defensively, they're eating the clock with us, so we got to be more physical at the corner on the edges and supporting some things.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Good luck in the second half.
Well, Hans, he's exactly right. 4 possessions for each school. Halftime in Tallahassee. Back after this. Here's the Heisman Trophy, and oh yeah, there are 3 of them here, James, in the football offices of Florida State here in the Moore Athletic Center. Welcome back to Tallahassee with James Bates, Hans Heiser, Wes Durham, our great crew. ACC college football on a Saturday night, and the #1 team in the country scored 4 touchdowns on their 4 first half possessions, and they lead the Citadel 28-0 as Eric Goins will kick it away, and Kermit Whitfield and Bobo Wilson are deep for Florida State. Goins, a little soft wedge here that'll be fielded up at the 28-yard line. And that was Colin Blake who ran it back across the 35-yard line. Let's check in with Hans. He visits with Citadel head coach Mike Houston.
Well, Coach, pretty solid half of football. Your boys seem prepared out there.
Well, 2 things. One, we're driving the ball well on offense. We just got to convert when we get down in the red zone and get the ball in the end zone. Secondly, defensively, we've got to get off the field on 3rd down. The last 2 drives, we had opportunities to get off the field, couldn't put them away, and ended up giving up 2 touchdowns there late. I'm proud of our effort, though.
Yeah, 5 seems to be taking his time back there. Anything differently y'all going to try to do to make him uncomfortable?
Yeah, we tried to pressure him on the last series, but yeah, hey, you got 5 seniors up front on the offensive line and a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. I mean, it's not like they haven't seen pressure before.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Good luck second half.
Thanks a lot.
All right, that is Mike Houston with Hans Heiser, and you see Kermit Whitfield on the sweep that time, pick up about 7 yards on first down. Devontae Delaney made the stop, very quick snap, and around the edge goes Whitfield again. First down for Florida State. We're seeing Kermit Whitfield in the backfield now. Walker Smith angled him out of bounds.
Little big man throwing that shoulder at the end of that run. They go with the hurry up. You get the big gainer, and you come right back at him, which is what Oklahoma State specialized in last week. That was the one thing defensively that Florida State defensive coordinator Charles Kelly wanted to work on. One play's bad, don't let it beat you twice. Just erase it and come back and play the next one. Don't get caught thinking about it.
Play action by Winston. And that's Nick O'Leary down to the 24-yard line. Devontae Delaney makes the stop for the Bulldogs. A 20-yard throw there.
You can see coming right at you. O'Leary's going to come into the screen, and it's just an easy throw. No backer there in the window even, and you're throwing it underneath an umbrella, making sure you don't give up the big play and keep everything in front of you, but it's just too easy in that front of that zone coverage.
Winston, middle of the field. That's Stevenson, the fullback, the sophomore from Bartow, who had his first career start last Saturday night in Arlington. And Rock Muhammad makes the stop. And boy, Jameis Winston is grooving it now.
A smooth operator, isn't he? Up and down the field. And, you know, it was really interesting talking with Jimbo Fisher, his head coach, yesterday. He said, you know, he goes out and he's not perfect, and people think he's bad all of a sudden. And it really is a microcosm of this team. I mean, look at everybody that's back. Look how good they are and what they're expected to do. And it's a shame because if they don't go win a national championship, it's a failure of a season.
Yep. Here's Williams. Trying to find the cutback, and he picked up about 4 yards. You saw Winston's numbers, 19 and 20, a buck 86, and 2 scores here early in the second half.
And just to clarify, that's not the way I see it, but unfortunately, that's the way that the college football world sees it.
Yep.
And that is what coaches deal with. I think that people don't realize as much as, you know, call it noise, call it clutter,
right,
like Jimbo Fisher does, to figure out a way to block out that clutter and truly let them just go week to week and play Seminole football.
Winston pumps it, now shoots it inside, and that's Carlos Williams. And Florida State on the march here with their 5th possession of the ball game. Nick Willis, the safety, brought down Carlos Williams.
And here's an example of the time. Nobody even close. Good job of swallowing up their guys, and looked like only 3 guys rushing. And then, you know, you're going to have a tough time getting past this offensive line just trying to bring 3. I don't care what school you're coming from. With enough time to find an open window.
Here's Carlos Williams. Bulldogs pushed him right back. That was the tight end side of the formation with Nick O'Leary and also Cameron Irving, 308-pound redshirt senior. Tevin Floyd, who was made some big hits last week in their opening loss to Coastal Carolina, was the first Citadel player there. You see Randy Sanders going through the signals next to Jimbo Fisher. Sanders now on this staff, and boy, he's worked at several places. Tennessee, of course, and Kentucky.
From Morristown, Tennessee. James Little Man Stewart, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
James Stewart was from.
Here's Winston now on 3rd down. Zips it to the end zone and up the ladder. The Noles couldn't bring it down with Christian Green. And a fine play by Walker Smith. How about the former walk-on student manager here, Batesy?
Bobby Boucher. Finally somebody breaks free, but still smooth, not feeling any pressure. Winston, and there you see the quick release. And what a shame. Been bragging on 89 Christian Green all game long because of the outstanding job he's done blocking. They were paying him back. You block, you get the rock, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to pull that one in. It was right in his breadbasket, too.
Aguayo's 22-yarder off a sharp angle is good. Well, the Noles have scored points on all 5 possessions here tonight. Well, a Saturday night in Tallahassee, #1 Florida State leads the Military College of South Carolina 31-0. And that is Eddie Goldman working his way back to the Florida State sideline. One of 3 defensive linemen for Jimbo Fisher's team that was shaken up in this first half. And Aguayo's kick toward Brandon Eakins. And he'll touch a knee. And the Citadel, for a 6th consecutive time, will start off its 25, James.
Well, let's go back that last series. And Jameis Winston, a couple plays before the miss of Christian Green. Go ahead and pause it right there. Here's Carlos Williams, the back. And upset Winston was after the play. And it's because all this area here, he had a choice right there. Winston's upset because Carlos really should have run the out instead of bringing it into traffic. And Martell Estrader won't go off.
The communication, and that's one of the things I thought was interesting yesterday. Jimbo Fisher talked about, you know, here you are a year off the national championship, and they were ironing out some of the communication stuff last Saturday night in Arlington. Here is Miller optioning to the far side on 1st down for a couple of yards. Aaron Miller, the senior quarterback, Clover, South Carolina. Reggie Northrup makes the stop.
I hope I did that justice. The hiccup there with the drawing, but Wes, I guess what I'm trying to say, you know, it's not just Jameis being perfect. It's these backs, and it's really the play after that, if I'm not mistaken. Carlos ran too tall. Yep. It just gave up his body, and he is so tall. He's got to bend. When he knows the contact's coming, he's got to lower those pads.
And to the far side goes Vinny Miller. And Jalen Ramsey makes the stop on the junior Vinny Miller, one of the slot backs in this option set. They're going to get some young guys. One of the hopes I think Florida State has is to get one of the young guys. And you get a look there. That's 20 Trey Marshall from Lake City. Regarded as one of the top safeties coming into college football this year. A 4.3 40 guy. A little speed in the secondary for the Noles.
So you don't have to have a Timmy Jernigan belly to go to Lake City. That's where Big Timmy's from too.
Here is Aaron Miller. Oh, zips it in there. Alex Glover the catch, and out to midfield goes the Bulldogs of the Citadel. The redshirt junior Glover caught that on a beam from Aaron Miller.
Yeah, he did. Threw it in there and brought Miller back in the tight end spot. Or check that, rather. He's coming from the outside and just a little slant route across the middle and hitting in between that zone. So there's a nice completion. It was in the first half, just one completion right before halftime.
24-yard throw sets up Miller on first down with a little keeper to the edge on the left side. And Aaron Miller brought down by Northrop. Seminole linebacker in this 34 set that Charles Kelly has employed. And there's a look at Miller, who played in just 9 games a year ago, had under 200 yards of rushing, and hit 52% of his passes for 400 yards in a reserve role. Former state champion at Clover. And that ball got knocked away and was loose. And I think the Bulldogs have fallen back on it. Looked to be a miscommunication on the give here from center. Well, Renew had it stripped away. Was that Walker 44, James?
Looked like DeMarcus Walker in there in a hurry. Unable to come up with it. Oh, and he had a chance there. Good job going after the rock. A couple of these Seminoles there tonight. We saw Ronald Darby earlier punch one on. So that's 2 fumbles for the Citadel. And they've recovered both, haven't lost one, and it was 8 when they didn't lose one in their opener last week.
Play clock down to 1. Miller gets the play snap. Gonna throw the fade route. Eakins can't hang on to it. Rudder Brown, beg your pardon, 83 Brown, the 6'4" sophomore from Mount Pleasant, just outside of Charleston. Can't haul it in.
Ronald Darby maybe can get away with this against the Citadel. In good position, but watch him look over his outside shoulder. He looks back over his outside shoulder. He's in excellent position. He's just got to keep body on body and run stride for stride. And as a defensive back, I'm taught to see those eyes of the receiver. When those eyes get big, that receiver, snap that head around then, but snap it over the other shoulder. Not going to be able to get away with that throughout this ACC schedule with some of those speeds.
Bobo Wilson deep to return the punt here, and he's going to let it sail on into the end zone off the foot of Will Van Vick. A 48-yard punt, and that'll get us to a timeout. In Tallahassee on a Saturday night, third quarter continues from Doak Campbell Stadium. Right after you see this. University on a Saturday night in Tallahassee with James Bates, Hans Heiser, our crew. Wes Durham, welcome to our ACC College Football Saturday Game of the Week. And Jameis Winston on first down, middle of the field. Rashad Green, could be a foot race, and the Bulldogs catch it. Carter, the redshirt freshman Birmingham, makes the play in the secondary for the Citadel. But boy, Rashad Green, that was pretty.
And just too easy. You better find number 80. Oklahoma State last week, they decided they were going to cover him with one guy the entire time. The Citadel decides they're going to cover him with no guys. And that's where the big hitters came from last week with Jameis and Rashad hooking up.
Here's the throw to the end zone, just beyond the reach. And for Winston, that is just his 3rd incompletion of the night.
You know, Wes, you go back to last week, and and it's just a mix-up in the secondary. But you've got to have a body. You've got to have a couple, as the Cowboys of Oklahoma State found out last week. On this guy, you know, Kelvin Benjamin, all these guys that have come through, as great as they are and will continue to do many great things, that guy, number 80, has led this team in receiving each of the last 3 years. And opponents better take notice when they're playing the Seminole.
Winston shoots it to the far side. And breaking away is Lane for another Florida State. First down to the 16. James, to that point, that's why I asked Jimbo Fisher yesterday in our visit when we were visiting, talking to him. I thought Rashad Green almost became the forgotten guy a year ago because of the exploits of Benjamin and others. But Fisher was quick to say, you're right, he kind of got forgotten amongst what Kelvin Benjamin, Nick O'Leary, even to a degree Devontae Freeman out of the backfield.
Well, but he also, there's not a lot of flash, so he's not out there promoting himself and trying to get all the attention. That may be the first time he's ever pointed at himself in a Seminole uniform right there, and we got it on tape. You know, and so that has a little to do with it. And that's a good thing.
Boom, to the end zone, did O'Leary hang on? No, incomplete. Wow. Winston trying to thread the eye of the needle there. And Malik Diggs did a nice job in coverage for the Bulldogs.
There's so many things that Winston does well, and when he makes up his mind, he's going to pull the trigger. Gosh, he throws a zip and through the hands and trying to hang on. Great job by the defensive back to continue to rake and rip it away. It looked like Malik Diggs there. And then sure was an incomplete pass. Otherwise, O'Leary would have been able to muscle it in.
There's Pender trying to fight through. And Mario Pender on second in the full 10 gets nearly 7. Mitchell Jeter, regarded by Mike Houston and his defensive coordinator Maurice Drayton as the best player in that front for Citadel. There's a look at Mitchell. 285-pound junior, Rock Hill, South Carolina.
We've seen a few of those end arounds to Kermit Whitfield. Anxious to see if you give a little bit more trickery here before these first teamers are out of there. Just to give guys like Clemson over the next couple weeks, to give them extra headaches. Make them spend an extra 15 minutes out on the practice field. Oh, we got to work on this play because we saw them run it 2 weeks ago against the Citadel. Believe me, coaches are thinking a few steps ahead all the time.
Stuff he was referring to us in our visit yesterday about last Saturday night in Arlington crept up there, and he had to punch a timeout, and he and Winston and that offensive unit had a skull session over there at the Knowles bench. Here is third down. And overshoots Mario Pender, did Jameis Winston there, so it'll be fourth down. And that will bring Roberto Aguayo on to try the field goal. Florida State in the details portion of the program tonight, James. 2 red zone trips that result in field goals will not make the head coach of the Seminoles very happy.
No, because it was red zone execution. One of the goals of this week. They weren't perfect last week, of course, but the turnover against Oklahoma State. Mentioned it earlier. 80% of the time they were in the red zone last year is touchdown.
27-yard try by Aguayo is good. And with just better than 6 minutes to go. Here in the third, Florida State's pushed the lead now to 34-0. And here's our look at what the quarterback and the head coach are talking about. And this is all part of it, isn't it, James? I mean, you know, expectations are high. Both guys are locked in, intense competitors about getting better.
You know what? And that is what I'm glad we saw that, because it's good for everybody to see that it's not all roses here in Tallahassee or anywhere across the college football landscape. And you know, Jameis Winston, he's got such great energy. He's got such a good smile, so positive, and everything always seems to go right because, you know, they are rolling in the #1 team in the nation. But one thing I've always heard about Jimbo Fisher out on the practice field, and you see it on the sidelines on Saturdays, Randy Sanders talking to him right now, is he coaches so hard. He coaches so hard, and he's coaching a lot, and you know, and just making sure that this point hits home. And it's one thing. It's interesting that Fisher said to us yesterday about college football. Unlike high school, where you have jamborees days to go get lathered up and get ready. Unlike the NFL where you got preseason, you're right out the chute expected to communicate and make these things happen.
Brandon Eakins will touch a knee. The Bulldogs of Citadel will play from its 25. And, well, you can tell Jimbo Fisher now. I mean, this guy in his 5th year, he's got a star quarterback, winner of the Heisman Trophy. I mean, a young man who was, put up some just unbelievable numbers a year ago. 40 touchdowns, better than 4,000 yards of passing, but yet it's the little detail things, not just with his quarterback, but with his football team. Yesterday, he was citing examples to us of things that have gone on, like in pop culture, that he was going to share with his team to let them understand you got to get rid of the club. I thought that was fascinating.
Losing people like Marcus Luttrell, lone survivor, Walker, war hero.
Look at this, rallying to the football. The delayed pitch by Aaron Miller to Vinnie Miller didn't work that time. And of course, Winston this week and all the things that came out last year in the news regarding some of the off-the-field issues. And this past week, of course, it was noted that Florida State, the university, in accordance with Title IX, which is, of course, through the Office of Civil Rights, and the university was going to do an investigation, and they have started that. And, of course, they have to do that as the university because that's a Title IX, the federal government. Title IX is more than just athletics, James, and I think folks in this country are going to hear a little bit more about that. And if Florida State doesn't do an investigation, then they risk losing some of the funding that they receive, too. Here is Aaron Miller, fake pass, and ultimately ends up angled out of bounds by Reggie Northrup.
DeMarcus Walker could have, should have dropped him. And rather than a gain of a few yards, it should have been a big-time loss for the Citadel. DeMarcus Walker had him dead to rights, the sophomore out of Jacksonville, Sandalwood.
Interesting that Florida State, as much pressure as they put on the Citadel tonight, just one sack for Charlie Kelly's defense.
You don't get a lot of opportunities, of course, in this offense, but they have dropped back a couple times. They changed their mind. You not see it too many more.
Here's Miller looking to throw. He's going to tuck here to the near sideline, and he'll have the first down on the scramble. Chased into the Seminole bench area by Jalen Ramsey. Tell you what, Aaron Miller's had a couple of plays here where it's just been better to keep it. Two guys again had a chance to get him behind the line. James?
Well, and it started with that edge. So much of it in containing these quarterbacks is about that edge, and that edge rush that time came from Trey Marshall, the safety, who really gave himself up by that spin move and running up the field and creating such a big gap and so much space outside. You got to play discipline to keep everybody bottled up, not just against the option.
Little dive play, and that is Stetson. The redshirt senior from Jacksonville. A year ago, he had 128 yards on 24 carries, 10 receptions for 178 yards. Did Jake Stetson. And there's Mike Houston, who at 42 years of age has gotten a chance now at Division I football. Incredibly successful at Lenore-Ryan in North Carolina. Took the Bears to the Division II finals a year ago with 29-8 as their head coach. And that time on the dive to renew, he and Aaron Miller banged into one another. Houston, by the way, is a native of Franklin, North Carolina, who is a 94 graduate of Mars Hill. Now, this is the interesting part about Mike Houston. He turned down a chance to go to medical school to stay in coaching. Now, being the son of a coach, I'm going to ask you financially now, that's early that can be a hard fight, Ken.
I don't know that I could have handled either of them. That's my dad and brother coached for a long time. It's like hanging out with you up here in the booth.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to worry about me ever going to medical school. There's the second sack of the night. Jalen Ramsey trapping Aaron Miller in the backfield.
First freshman to start at cornerback since prime time. Oh, that's the the defensive back in him. You know, you see him in space. They talk about space. A lot of times it's out on the edge, and it's on into the secondary. This time he's rushing, and basically that's space. That's open field tackling. And the way that you can eliminate any kind of shake or any kind of question like we saw earlier from DeMarcus Walker on his whip is you just make up your mind you're going to go do it and just go heat seek and miss and drop it.
Unbalanced line, and they hand the ball straight ahead. Renew on 2nd and long. Yeah, Mike Houston's a fascinating visit. He worked for Fred Goldsmith, the former coach at Duke, of course, who up until the exploits of David Cutcliffe here the last couple of years was the last Duke head coach to take the Blue Devils to a postseason bowl. And Mike is going to be inducted. This is a nice moment. Late October, he'll be inducted into the Franklin, North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame. Good for him.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed meeting with him all week. Got a lot of young guys he's excited about. Thinks the future is bright there in the Southern Conference with these guys.
Here's Miller on 3rd and long and overthrows. Looking on the far side for Alex Glover at 6'3". And Houston's club will punt the football with Van Dyke.
You know, again, it's some things, a lot of things in this week off. Remember, next up for FSU, the Clemson Tigers. The Tigers win big today over South Carolina State, 73-7. They've got the week off too, but plenty to work on for both these teams. And there's a little example, Tyler Hunter. Know where those sticks are. Know where that route is going to be run. That's exactly where they're trying to run that route. Little things that need to be cleaned up.
Here's Bobo Wilson. 20 and fumbled the ball, but falling on it for Florida State, I believe, was Nick Wasom. Yep. So Wasom gets back on the rock. Oh, yeah, nice play now. Cody Richardson, I think, stripped that out of there. Sure did.
And there's, you know, when you get your chance, when you've got Kermit Whitfield, and in this, probably in this 4th quarter coming up, here's an example in Sean McGuire taking snaps. A lot of guys are going to get chances.
Yep.
Got to take advantage of it and hold on to it.
Here's McGuire. Wanted to throw, and he'll now just work his way back to the near sideline, and Nick Jeffries rushed him out of bounds. And Sean McGuire, 6'3", 220-pound redshirt sophomore out of Seton Hall Prep in Sparta, New Jersey. And the first words out of everybody's mouth when you ask about Sean McGuire is, oh, he's got a big arm. He's got a big arm.
And for a guy that didn't really throw it in high school, ran a wing T offense up there at Seton Hall Prep, so he didn't get a chance to show it off much.
And there's the give inside. And Mario Pender fighting to get back toward the line of scrimmage. Mobley makes the tackle, and our hardest working player, brought to you by Polaris. Hardest working player of the game, well, Carlos Williams, especially early. James?
Yeah, and that offensive line, hardest working players. Can we add an S on there maybe next time? Because those guys up front there, you see guys like Josue Matias and Trey Jackson, Austin Barron, Cam Irving, Bobby Hart. The starters on the offensive line have been dynamite tonight.
McGuire, and that's Javon Harrison, the freshman from Kathleen, making the catch near a first down. It'll be 4th and short, and Kason Beatty, the junior from Charlotte, North Carolina, will punt. First punt of the night for Florida State as Tevin Floyd made the tackle for the Bulldogs.
I wonder if schools use that to recruit against FSU when you're recruiting punters. Why would you go there? You're never going to get the punt. It's the first punt of the night.
DeAndre Schultz, sophomore from Aiken, who averaged 6.5 yards a year ago on punt returns, and that'll get the quarter clock to 0-0, and that'll get us to period 4 in Tallahassee. The nation's #1 team leads 34-0 after 3 periods of play. Settle in for the final 15 minutes of play here tonight in Tallahassee on a humid night in front of a sellout house at Doak Campbell Stadium. And Kason Beatty from Olympic High School in Charlotte, North Carolina, set to punt it away to start quarter 4 here. And Beatty's first punt of the night. Wobbly kick, headed towards Schultz, and he'll let it hit and bounce around, and the Seminoles are going to...
Still a little bit of a mystery. Charlie Weiss's squad. And lost Jake Heaps, transferred down to Miami, now in the ACC, but Montel Cozart, who started 3 games for the Jayhawks last year, will be the starter, but they didn't play last weekend.
Here is Miller rolling and throwing down the field. Did Stinson hang on? And ruled incomplete in front of the Bulldog bench. Boy, Jake Stinson, that's a heck of a catch.
I'll say he hung on to it, but he was out of bounds. It looked like he injured his side there in the process, but how about this little wheel route for Stinson and unable to get that foot back. It was Jalen Ramsey who was trailing there, and you know, and again, these little things, you got to play this fourth quarter, and I'll guarantee you, a lot of those guys that may get a breather here coming up just a bit, perhaps, are going to tell these youngsters, we're not going to let this team score. Not only is it the no-fly zone, but tonight, when you go into a fourth quarter and you've got the goose egg on the board for those opponents, nothing is more important to those guys on the sideline, especially the defensive guys, it's preserving that shutout. You let the young guys know it every single time they come to the bench.
Third down now. Here's what you're talking about. And they're going to pitch it on the edge, and around the corner goes Cam Jackson. Redshirt freshman, Mobile, Alabama, a former quarterback. He hit 70% of his passes and ran for 1,200 yards as a senior, but moved to the slot by Mike Houston, and a nice play there.
Well, Vinnie Miller out on the edge with the block. Good job as well to give him the room to get down there and move the chains.
So first down here for the Bulldogs. Early in period 4 at Tallahassee. Miller right again, and another toe tap catch, but incomplete in front of the Citadel bench, and that time it was Eakins, the 6'2" junior. Tell you what, Aaron Miller's gotten out of the pocket a couple times, and by inches here, James.
By inches twice, just sitting it down right there beyond the sticks in that zone. And again, another Bulldog that is open, another missed opportunity.
There's a pitch on the option read, and around the corner goes Jackson. A couple of nice plays by Cam Jackson. And that'll be another first down for the Bulldogs.
Well, this is the first time we've seen this look, and it was a quicker pitch. Didn't carry it out as an immediate after the fake dive. And got everybody off guard, including Jalen Ramsey, who tried to flatten out a little bit too much and got the corner turned on him. So again, charging down the field, and well, wouldn't the Citadel love to take that 0 off the scoreboard as much as the Seminoles want to keep it up there.
Little trap with Jackson, and he runs right into DeMarcus Christmas. 93, one of the best names in college football. True freshman from Bradenton. Also Jason Pugh there as well, another freshman.
I wasn't able to look it up, but I don't think he's related to Lloyd Christmas. Jim Carrey's character in Dumb and Dumber. I don't think.
Don't think?
No.
Yeah. Maybe you can check on that after the game.
We landed on the move.
2nd and 9. 2.5 minutes gone in the fourth, and a dive play. And I believe Smith the carry. Yes. Another freshman, this youngster from Hagerstown, Maryland, who, by the way, set the Maryland State rushing record, 2,900 yards as a senior, and he broke his junior record. So now it's penalty against Florida State offside. Second of the night against the Noles. 15 yards total.
We just saw the freshman, Isaiah Smith, and Houston told us about, you know, It was the toughest thing, he said, to go in and address these seniors that have been there for so long. And hey, I'm sorry about this transition. Here's the way we're going to do it. And they've been a large part that the youngsters is happy about, too.
Wow, that time Florida State had Marquez White, the sophomore, Dothan, Alabama, tee up Trey Marshall and Reggie Northrup there. Boy, this is really good by Charlie Kelly's group.
Well, again, making up my mind, I'm going to go make a play in wrapping up these ball carriers. Too many times tonight. If this Seminole team wants to go and try to make a run at the playoff and try to make a run and repeat as national champions, these small things, incorrectable things, doesn't Charles Kelly know? Wrapping up by guys in the secondary is going to be a must.
There's a pitch, and Jackson trying to get the corner turn, broke away from one, and on 3rd and long, he's close to a first down. Nate Andrews in the ball game, over the top, finally brought him down, but that's awfully close to another first down for the Bulldogs.
There's Northrup, had the 7 tackles last week. You see there at the top of your screen getting thrown out of there, thrown onto his back eventually. That's LaMarcus Bruce. And I hate to single out a guy, but you know, the same passion that we see guys on the offensive side of the ball come into the game. Dalvin Cook, Mario Bender, here's my chance. It's the same way you've got to attack on defense. You know you're going to get blocked. Take it to him. Take it to him. You're the guy that's, playing at the #1 team in the nation, and this is the lowly Citadel. He just got worked.
Here's Miller on the keeper. Aaron Miller breaking free. Inside the 20 and brought down near the 10-yard line. Andrews, LaMarcus Brutus there. And for the first time tonight, the Bulldogs on a threat here.
Well, chipped away. When things start to work, it opens up the game for many other things to work. We talked about it at halftime. You pound that ball if you're Florida State. Big physical team. It's, of course, what Nick Saban has done for so many years. You have a physical running game, and it opens up that play-action pass. Same goes with this option. The little things work, and they all start to snowball and feel like they're all working for a defense.
Goes to the end zone. Touchdown. Ryan Brown. He and Aaron Miller hook up on a 10-yard throw, and the Bulldogs on the board here in the 4th quarter.
Well, and they hurry it up. They go down there and set the chains. And this is one thing they saw off that Oklahoma State tape. You get them on their heels and you throw another quick play at them with some tempo and quicken the pace. And you get them questioning, letting that same play beat them twice instead of moving on to the next one. And how about the joy there in the stands and over on the Citadel sideline?
76 yards, 10 plays, 436, couple of 3rd down conversions, and then the 10-yard pass. Austin Jordan, and the point after is no good. So 10 minutes, 12 seconds to play here in Tallahassee, and the Military College of South Carolina on the board. On the board for the first time tonight, Aaron Miller to Rudder Brown on a 10-yard pass, and and Kermit Whitfield are deep. There's no way they kick it near either one of those guys, is there? Nope. They're going to kick it out of bounds.
Just make extra sure.
Yep. There is absolutely. I can imagine now that the special teams coach, Blake Harrell, here's the first penalty of the night against Mike Houston's club.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team, receiving team has elected to place the ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
And we're going to get a timeout. So we'll get a timeout here in Tallahassee. The last BCS National Championship trophy, the old Crystal Football. On a Saturday night here in Tallahassee. And Sean McGuire, the redshirt sophomore from New Jersey, in his 2nd series in relief of Jameis Winston. Happily, the tight end in motion. First down give, and Dalvin Cook.
On top of North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, that 7 points was a defensive touchdown.
A 100-yard interception return by Brian Walker, the only offensive marker tonight for Larry Fedora's. The only marker for Larry Fedora's team is a defensive score. You're right. And, an interesting You start looking now and Michael Brewer, 138 yards passing. Virginia Tech leads at the Horseshoe.
Yeah, didn't get over that other column. That's at halftime, right? 21-7, I think.
Huh?
That's one thing. There were some question marks. A lot of people had offense after the Navy game with Ohio State, but they thought the defense would be okay.
Here's McGuire, a little bootleg, and this is the Penn State transfer. Hapley toward another first down for Florida State. He got banged out of bounds by Rock Muhammad and Ben Roberts. I'll tell you what, this here's a collision on the back end of this. Sean McGuire with Mark Thomas rolling him over. First down and 10. And here is Dalvin Cook. A step away, Nick Willis from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Able to get him on the shoe tops.
We talk about a hungry back. Dalvin Cook, true freshman, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Football in the state of Florida after winning a state championship with his Miami Central team last year. And he's upset every time. What is his average? Up near 10, probably?
He's 47 yards on 7 carries.
and he's very upset every time he comes up because he didn't score.
Yeah, another one. Not going to be happy about that run either, and it's enough for the first down, Hans.
Yeah, 3 years ago, Jimbo and Candy Fisher's world was turned on its side. Their youngest son, Ethan, was diagnosed with Fanconi disease, and we're wearing these bracelets today. You can go to kidsfirst.org to make donations, and one of only 350,000 people are diagnosed with this. When Ethan was first diagnosed, they scrambled to the internet and talked to doctors trying to figure out exactly what it is, and knowledge was so hard to come by. Information was that they decided to start this organization and start this fund to use Jimbo's platform and Candy's outreach in the community to raise money for a great cause. You can also donate at fightfanconi.com. All
right, Hans, thank you. Jimbo and Candy at the front of that organization in Florida and throughout the ACC, and it's a disease that not many people knew about, and they have done a great job of getting awareness out there as much as anything else. Second and short, and Jonathan Vickers banging away for the first down. And James Riley makes a stop, and there's the bracelet that Jimbo Fisher wears. And a lot of the Seminoles fans and players and athletic department officials, folks on the campus here at the university, have the Kids First bands.
As they should, and as we all should. Bless that family and any family's hearts that has to deal with that. All we can do is try to raise awareness and help to raise monies and research and fight.
Absolutely. There's Cook on a first down carry toward the Bulldog 15-yard line. Baxter makes the stop. Tell you what, some good work here tonight for both Mario Pender and Dalvin Cook. James, the college game in some respects is kind of morphing toward the pro game. The feature back is hard to find. I mean, now Duke Johnson at Miami, maybe Kevin Parks at Virginia, but that's about all the AC mean. And, Carlos Williams is really good, but these other guys are going to have to play at some point.
Andre Williams at Boston College last year, but it's because they've only got one. They've got 3 or 4 here, and you have the luxury of changing them up and spelling.
Here's McGuire, second down, and undershoots Cook on the far side.
But you're absolutely right, Wes, and fewer and fewer in the NFL. It's a dying breed, and those that were when it was the thing in the NFL is they don't last long, unfortunately, because they take such a pounding and they work so hard, and when you can create, when you've got the depth, at any position, but those running backs here is a great example, and to where they're not selfish and they don't care who gets this carry and who gets this touchdown. They really don't care about the numbers, and they're there for one another. It's a dangerous thing.
7 different guys have carried it tonight, and a bunch of them have caught them, and that's Hapley, the redshirt senior, Annandale, New Jersey, who missed all of 2013 with a knee injury. He hasn't played since he was at least in a game since he was a Nittany Lion, but this is a fine catch here.
Those Nittany Lions could have used him to add a little bit of trouble there for a while with Bowden's team, Terry Bowden's Akron Zips.
First and goal after the reception, and here's Cook. Citadel got there in a hurry. Jeffries coming off his defensive end spot. 42 makes the stop. Had some help from the other senior, Gadsden, Alabama's Rock Muhammad. One of the better names on the field tonight. Spelled R-A-H is Rock Muhammad. Pronounced like rock. Spelled like Ra. Well, we double checked and it's Rock. Second and goal. McGuire overthrows Hapley and then off the fingertips on the back end of Herman Lane. We almost had a McGuire to Hapley to Lane double play ball. Ben Roberts also, I think, got a hand on it for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, how does that look in the book? 1, 2,
3.
Oh my goodness, that's
4.
Oh, you want that one back. There's a chance to go into Doak Campbell Stadium and pick one off against the #1 team in the land. And Ben Roberts, the redshirt freshman, can't come away with it. Another chance for the Noles to punch it in.
And this is Cook. And he'll be hemmed up at about the 7-yard line. Kareem R., his lineman, kind of got blocked back, and Dalvin Cook's path got cut off. So Aguayo will come in and try and cover the rest of this. This will be the third second-half field goal for Roberto Aguayo, who, by the way, is only the 4th different guy to win the Groza Award who's kicked at Florida State. That's a pretty good tradition, too.
We talk about Winston being the youngest ever to win the Heisman. It was a freshman year. The Groza Trophy came back to Aguayo last year as well. But the Seminoles stumble in the red zone one more time. One of those things they need to clean up the efficiency down inside the 20.
Citadel 6, and with the former Gator linebacker. What's it like being here with not having the orange helmet on and the blue pants? Y'all wore those blue pants in here, didn't you, when you came up here with Spurrier?
No.
Wore the white, went all white, did you, with the orange hat?
We wore the blue ones the time it worked that year.
Oh, is that okay. Yeah, the time it worked.
Orange pants here, though, is #1 versus #2.
Yeah.
And, you know, you too, Wes. I didn't think you'd go there. Truck's been giving me a hard time.
What's that about being a Gator in Tallahassee?
Being a Gator in
People here have been really nice, though.
They have been very nice. And you know what?
Hospitable.
Well, and I can't help but be nice. I feel like it was such an honor to be able to play big-time college football and be a part of this rivalry. And it's just, you know, the chop was going hard earlier in pregame, and they were giving me a hard time. The truck, shoot, Rocky Top, the chop,
yeah.
You know, hail to Vic. I mean, that's college football. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and I don't care if it's your rival. It's, you know, it's just, it really has been a blast being here.
5-yard penalty, free kick.
Delay a game against Florida State on the kick.
Bobby Bowden's wife takes credit.
Miss Ann, yeah.
Miss Ann for starting the chop here.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what Tommy says. Tommy tells the story that his mom is the one who got it going.
I can believe it. What a lineage and a tradition that Bobby Bowden built here in Tallahassee. And the kick will be down in the end zone. Yeah, you played in one of the greatest games ever played here. 1-2 game.
1 versus 2.
Ended up playing, a month and a half, 5 weeks later, national championship. 37-6 Noles on a Saturday night. On this 4th possession of the second half, coming off their touchdown drive, and Miller here has been subbed out, and Dominique Allen, a freshman from Richmond Hill, Georgia, has come in at quarterback. There's a look at Allen, who threw for 700 yards and ran for 1,000 as a senior in high school, and his parents both are Marines, and therefore this Citadel lifestyle kind of suits him pretty good. Was eager to get involved with Mike Houston's program, the true freshman. 6 foot, 220-pounder. Houston told us yesterday this is kind of a look to the future now with senior Aaron Miller in his final campaign. 3rd down. And the dive play, and that was Smith, the freshman, breaking the mark for the 1st down.
Well, freshman to freshman, Allen to Smith to move the chains. And Dominique Allen actually started out at the Air Force prep school, following mom and dad's footsteps out there in Colorado Springs, and decided to come back closer to home. It's interesting when you look at the service academies, Navy, Army, Air Force, you go to school there, you play football there, and you're committed to 4 years. You have to commit. And well, look at him continuing to pound. And you don't, though, at the Citadel. It was interesting. 37%, they say, of the students there at the Citadel choose to go the military route. And it really makes it tougher, they say, because, you know, when you're at the Air Force Academy and you're taking 22 hours and you got your buddies, they're all kind of, you know exactly where you're heading, but you've got guys that are pre-med, law school, and it really makes it tough on a football program because they're not all on the same coach.
Oh, you're right. Second and short here for Allen. He'll toss, and that's Jackson trying to get the edge turned, and does. And the Citadel, another first down, this one in Florida State territory. And that brings us to our Honda Generators power play. It's the Seminole defense. For the most part tonight, Charles Kelly's unit has been on point against the Bulldog option game. That's a good one. Marquez White setting up Marshall and Reggie Northrup. 6 tackles for loss tonight for Florida State. First down and 10. And another dive play, and look at boy Smith cutting through. That'll be close to another first down. Don't forget, coming up on ACC All Access, check your local listings. Louisville head coach Bobby Petrino, what's old is new again. Who started his second tour of duty. Cardinals on the way to a big win over Murray State. And this time it's more of a destination than a journey for Petrino. ACC All Access. Check your local listings for availability in your area. First and 10 for the Bulldogs of the Citadel. And Dominique Allen, the keeper that time. And will break the plane of the 35. So a pickup of right at about 4. Florida State's got a mixed bag in there defensively. Some of the younger guys they were hoping to get in. Keith Bryant is in there, big 95, 6'2", 319, and some others. We'll take a break. Hit Doak Campbell. Final minute and change coming up. It's a play here tonight in Tallahassee. Florida State with a 37-6 lead, but Dominique Allen, the true freshman from Richmond Hill, Georgia, trying to drive the Citadel maybe for one last scoring chance. And on second down, boy, what a big play in the defensive backfield that time. Florida State got there with Pugh, the freshman from here in Tallahassee, Jacob Pugh.
And how about this? Allen's got to come out. Pugh ripped his helmet off, but there's no flag. So they got to send Aaron Miller back in now.
So Miller will come in for a snap, and I guess they get Allen right back in the ball game. So Miller gets the play, and Florida State will go to an open date next Saturday, and then the Clemson Tigers will be here 2 weeks from tonight. And my, how the angle of that game has turned a little bit. Smith, I tell you what, boy, Smith has played well off the bench for Mike Houston. And he's got nearly another first down. Let's get our Z-Max performance play of the night. And Nick O'Leary wandering through the back of the end zone. Takes Jameis Winston's touchdown pass. And the big fella from Palm Beach, 6'3", 235, and a senior, showed up here a few years ago as the grandson of Jack Nicklaus and has proven to be just a lot more than that. 5 for 51 and a touchdown here tonight for Nick O'Leary. But I'm sure Jack and Barbara are happy they were here tonight, as they always are. It's amazing the family tradition that he set so many years ago to see all of his children compete athletically in and around his golf schedule.
Well, and more than one Jack excited to see it. Jack Daniels, his high school coach there at Dwyer High School down in Palm Beach. One of the greats. You know, it's funny. You look at these lineups, these rosters for Florida State, especially, and just the schools, these programs that jump out. Dwyer High School down in Palm Beach. Lakeland. Bill Castle is still coaching at Lakeland after all those state championships. George Smith no longer down at St. Thomas Aquinas, but so many guys from there. And if I'm a coach, I want guys that know how to win, expect to win, and did in high school.
Allen throws, and that is caught. And squirming away is Schultz, I believe. DeAndre Schultz, it is. Made a great catch, and another timeout taken by the Citadel. Their last timeout.
He got the freshman back in there, got his hat back on, buckled up his chin strap. And, well, you got to hang on in a coaching point there for Florida State defensively. Was it Alfredo Davis that came? I'm sorry, Tyrell Lyons.
Yeah.
You know, he did a good job with that backhand of holding on to the pads and coming across and trying to rip it away with that front hand, but you got to hang on. If you're going to miss with that ball, make sure you secure the tackle, and he lost a grip. And again, these little things, the details to clean up before they hit this ACC schedule.
Jimbo Fisher's team, of course, plenty of weapons. We saw them early tonight. Kermit Whitfield. Oh, man, Carlos Williams. And then, of course, Winston pulls the trigger. And look at these guys. Here's Bobo Wilson back in action tonight. Had a touchdown. And then the stable of backs, Dalvin Cook, Mario Pender behind Carlos Williams. And a busted play. Allen will just fall forward for a yard or two. And it looked like maybe a mix-up with the dive play. Remember, Citadel out of timeouts now in the final 18 seconds. And a spike on second down will bring it to third down here for the Bulldogs of Mike Houston.
And I like it. If nothing else, you don't get anything here. Why not give your field goal kicker a chance to practice, in a live situation in a great big stadium arena like this? We'll go for it. Try to come in here and score double digits.
Yep.
Let these young guys get all the reps that they can.
Well, Mike Houston's team has had a couple plays here tonight offensively. Early on, they made a big play but couldn't do anything off the back end of it. And here in the second half, they've been able to generate a little more momentum against the reserves. Allen fakes the toss, throws to the end zone. It's caught. Cam Jackson, DeAndre Schultz, the Bulldog touchdown.
Look at everybody in a white shirt sprinting down there and hug them up in the corner of the end zone. Good for the Bulldogs to go fighting to the very end. 12 seconds left. A good sell by the freshman. And that's a way to take your time. I mean, sometimes that's the hardest throw to make is when a guy is wide open, but they sell it so hard.
Well, Mike Houston said to us this week, we're going to go into the big stage. Here's the two-point play, and thrown incomplete. It was the holder trying to pull the trigger on the two-point play. Alex Glover, and that falls short. So with 12 seconds left, Mike Houston will check that out, but his group came on this stage tonight. Here in the second half have had a few other things go their way, but early on they optioned to Jake Stinson. They had some big runs from Renew. Here's Vinny Miller, James. And they were getting some things going forward, but just, as he said to Hans at halftime, couldn't finish drives.
Yeah, he was frustrated in a couple chances that they had with some big hitters through the air. That fell short. Here's one that didn't, and a lot of that success in the first half had to do with getting bodies on the ground, cutting, and just the relentless blocking and the effort outside. Here's a good shot.
I think that might be a little Houston. The coach in waiting. So what a nice moment. This is a moment for this school to come here. Now, they've played before, but in Mike Houston's first year of his administration, the big stage, bring these guys in here to play the nation's #1 team. And, they had some positives here tonight. He knows it's a tough job ahead, but he passed on some opportunities to get to the FCS level from Lenore Ryan and accepted the challenge that the Citadel brings because of kind of what he'd been through in coaching an institution of higher learning like Lenore Ryan, too.
Well, and the cadets, let's not forget, they hop on a bus tonight.
Yeah.
They'll get home at 7:30 tomorrow morning after a bus ride all night long after pounding for 4 quarters with the #1 team in the land. Well, you got to love football, don't you?
Yeah. Well, these young guys, they have quite a day. I mean, we were talking about it earlier this week, and the things they go through from, 6 in the morning until about 10 or 11 at night. And Jimbo Fisher's team now a week off, right, Batesy? Look ahead, and here come the Tigers 2 weeks from tonight.
Here come the Tigers with payback on their minds. Last year, Jimbo Fisher and the Florida State Seminoles went into Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina, and hung 51 points on them, more than has ever been scored there in Death Valley. So now, can they do anything about it is another question. But they're going to be ready to play these Seminoles here in Tallahassee.
Florida State scored touchdowns on their first 4 possessions tonight. And they beat the Citadel by a final of 37-12. Mike Houston and Jimbo Fisher, a handshake at midfield, and the homecoming of the national champs is complete tonight. And they have clinched a school record 18th straight victory tonight and 30 of the last 32 for Jimbo Fisher in Florida State. And a lot of guys huddled around Jameis Winston. Hans Heiser's got Jimbo Fisher.
Well, Coach, first off, congratulations. Yesterday, a couple aspects of the game that you wanted to pay close attention to was the kicking game as far as coverage and also your red zone. How did you think your team did tonight?
Good. I mean, I thought we did good in the red zone in the first half. Second half, we dropped 2 touchdown passes, and we missed a wide open throw. We could have had 3 more touchdowns. Didn't finish executing down there in the second half. First half did a good job. Kicking coverage was much better.
The second half, you got a chance to get some of the younger players on the field. Your thoughts about how they played?
I thought they did some good things. I mean, there's some yards. You see the athletic ability. Hey, it's got to become better football players.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Hans, thank you. Thanks to Jimbo Fisher as well. His team to 2-0. And a win tonight by 25.